Hi. Just looking at a few things on the internet recently that I just feel need some commentary, really, because I feel people do need some guidance through all this mayhem and madness that's going on in this crazy upside down world at the moment that is just so stupid. It is really beyond belief that an intelligent species could harbour such corruption, such levels of corruption that are so serious and actually so despicable. It's even hard to actually believe that, you know, that is the case. You know, you look at the evidence and it is hard to believe that these people are just engaged in such absolute filth, you know. And so we've got this Cambridge Analytica thing, you know. I am going to just close my Facebook down. I'm going to retrieve my personal things from there, photos and what have you, and certain things I'm going to retrieve from there. And that's it. It's going. I just don't want nothing to do with it. And in fact, I'd already made my mind up to close my account before this came out, because I was just getting sick and tired of being told that I'm a naughty girl because I put a post up, so you can't get in your Facebook, you're in Facebook prison for a week, that turns into like a month, you know. And it's like, why? So okay, I'm a human rights activist, I'm vegan, I promote children's rights to child protection directives and justice, I expose the problems of this world and promote the solutions. So, you know, what offensive post could I really put up? What offensive post could I put up? I'm not against Jews, I'm not against Christians, not against Muslims, not even against atheists. Okay? I do expose certain corrupt extremist organisations, like, for example, ISIS and Zionists and, you know, whatever, far-right extremists, other far-right extremists. So, you know, what offensive posts. But, you know, the way Facebook works is like, if so many people complain about a post, I mean, they don't even have to look at it. It's like, oh yeah, all these people have complained, right, yeah, that's it, we're going to block her. You know, don't even show me the post. So I don't even know what offensive post I put up, because that's not been shown to me. Apparently Facebook just took it down. And, you know, it's hard to... I'm trying to imagine what was so terrible that they just took the post down. They didn't even tell me what post it was, and just close, you know, block me from my account. So this is happening to me, a Facebook user, that they're making all the money off, you know, millions of people like me, that we're sharing stuff on Facebook and using it as a platform, well, as a media platform to share information with people. You know, I don't post pictures of me dinner or selfies. So it's like, you know, we're heavily targeted because we're heavily trolled by all these online identities, fake identities, these sock puppet accounts. I'm just sick to death of, you know, one person operating as, what, 20 people can just get anybody's post taken down. A criminal, you know, you're talking about lawfully suspected criminals, a lot of these people. The criminals. And you know, when you look at this Cambridge Analytica and they say, oh, we got the data and we use Facebook to do this, you know, once they'd got the data, what kind of personal targeting were they doing to people? Because, you know, I got heavily trolled and attacked during the Trump campaign, and I literally got bombarded with pro-Trump posts. It was like the whole world was voting Trump, and anybody who was saying anything against him were, you know, mad, crazy people. It's completely crazy. It's just complete madness. And then we've got this, you know, nerve gas attack that happened in Salisbury, which is terrible, you know, what's happened to those people. And I really pray that they recover, and my heart goes out to their families, you know, because it really was a terrible thing, and it is an absolutely dreadful chemical, this nerve gas. But, you know, when you look at it in its context, there was a very small group of people that were impacted by that. It's been turned into a major national disaster, you know, and now there's talk about, you know, they're expelling Russian diplomats, and, you know, under this thing here, it's this ribbon going across here, it was talking, you know, Boris Johnson. I mean, Boris Johnson, absolute buffoon, an absolute buffoon, right? He is talking about Putin and saying that, you know, they're now saying that this this attempted murder of this ex-Russian spy and his daughter here in Britain, that was straight from President Putin. It came straight from the Kremlin. Boris Johnson's saying, okay, this is the man who was spreading a pack of lies about how well the NHS is going to do after Brexit. Okay, and you know, apparently, according to Boris Johnson, Putin is set on causing trouble wherever he can. Okay, I mean, come on, go away with your absolute bollocks nonsense, because that is what it is. It is total BS, okay? Because for all we know, this could be another false flag event, which I'm not saying it wasn't real, that they weren't real victims and they weren't real terrorist things used like nerve gas, okay? I'm not saying that the events aren't real or that the victims aren't real. What I'm saying is that the people that are being held responsible for this, they are not the people that did it. And I do seriously believe that if the Kremlin, under orders of Putin, had been ordered to kill 2 people in Britain, those people would be dead. Okay? And as it is, you know, they are in intensive care and fighting for their lives. So, you know, it is a serious thing, and that's why it's important that you find out who did it. Not just assume that, oh, he was an ex-Russian spy, so obviously it's from Russian agents, and obviously they're operating on order of the Kremlin, and obviously they're under direct orders from Putin. I mean, that is just so ridiculous. It's absolutely disgusting. You've got no evidence whatsoever. And then, you know, we've got Theresa May telling us, oh, well, you know, we can't show you the evidence because it's a matter of defence and national security. Really, is it? Go away. We've heard it all before, haven't we, with Iraq? Yeah, he's got weapons of mass destruction, but we can't tell you exactly where they are because, you know, it's a matter of national security, it's a matter of military defence, so we can't tell you exactly where they are, but we know that he's got the weapons of mass destruction. It's imperative that we get in, and, you know, we're going to bring democracy and liberate the Iraqi people. I mean, and it was all just a total pack of lies, and the guy that exposed it as a pack of lies, who'd actually been as a weapons inspector to Iraq, Dr. David Kelly, oh, suddenly he was found dead. And even doctors are questioning the validity of the suicide story. And I'm sorry, it's just, the whole system is so corrupt, so corrupt. We in Britain now are living under a total reversal of the law. Okay? And, you know, David Cameron, when he said, was it in 2015, and he said to the British public that, you know, don't think that just by being a law-abiding citizen, that means you are safe from police, from focus of the police, from police prosecutions. It's like, what? You're a law-abiding citizen. You're abiding by your human rights. You are utilising your human rights for exactly the purpose that they were provided for, which is to speak out publicly against corruption and criminals in authority. That is what a democracy is. We have a right. If we see that children are left at risk, that the elderly are put at risk, if people's lives are put at risk, we have a right to utilise rights are human rights and express freedom of expression and speech and speak out against it, because that is what a democracy really is. Okay? But no, instead, people are being criminalised for speaking out. They're being prosecuted for speaking out. Okay? And, you know, it just is, it is absolutely ridiculous. And when there's a weight of evidence against criminals who just get away with it, nobody investigates them, weight of evidence. In fact, there's so much evidence on the table that the legs are starting to give way. But, you know, these shreds of evidence, little shreds of evidence, little tiny things that people are doing are being, that's against the law. Oh, you know, like something's happened in Salisbury, a dreadful thing to that family. But, you know, suddenly we're talking about, we're on the brink of bloody World War III, aren't we? A new Cold War with Russia. Oh, we've got to get back to the Cold War years. Oh, why? Have you decided to abandon the bloody ISIS stuff now? Have you? Now that you've ruined Iraq, ruined Libya, installed ISIS there, installed ISIS here, and, you know, oh, you didn't quite succeed in installing ISIS in Syria yet, did you? Because, Russia thwarted your little plot, didn't it? Naughty Russia. Oh, suddenly Russia, you know, we've got to cut off all diplomatic relations with Russia. Really? Really? Well, you know, it is absolutely despicable. This is, sorry Theresa May, you're a totally crazy, mad woman. Okay, you really are. In fact, you are the female version of Donald Trump. Okay? You are the British female version of Donald Trump. You're totally crazy. Totally crazy. Because, you know, we found out this Cambridge Analytica has been, you know, ran the Brexit campaign, which I knew it did. I was out on the street campaigning for the Remain campaign. And I remember it was a Sunday. It was a special market that had been put on, you know, with all local handicrafts and different stalls, and it was a very busy area, multicultural, multi-economic status of people there, all ages. You know, it was absolutely a total mix of the British public, and from all walks of life were there at this little market. And I was giving out leaflets and I was talking to people, and I would say that only 1 out of 4 or 5 people stated that they were voting Leave. And those people were all, by majority, either young, in the 20s, or in the 30s to 40s. So, you know, 20s to 40s, that's what age of the 1 in 4 to 5 that were saying Leave. Okay, all the rest of the people were like, yeah, we want to stay, we want to stay. Old people in particular, the elderly people wanted to stay. But, you know, I'm hearing on Facebook and the news, and according to the so-called polls, okay, that, apparently it was all those nasty old people that voted Brexit. And I'm sorry, what I witnessed, what I experienced with my own life living being was the equivalent of a poll. Okay, it was the equivalent of a poll. I wasn't taking a poll, but when I'm being told something completely different, because I was in contact with perhaps hundreds of people that day, okay, and so what I picked up there could be applied nationally in exactly the same way that these pollsters will go and interview 100 people, you know, with a questionnaire, and then, oh, suddenly that applies to the whole nation. Okay, you know, this is what they do. Well, you know, I didn't go to a select group of people. Okay, I was there, the public was there, the public spoke to me, and the public told me exactly that we were going to stay in Europe, we were going to stay in the EU. I felt quite confident. But I'd noticed this campaign, Brexit thing, that was making it look like loads of people were supporting Brexit. I noticed that most of the people commenting were sock puppet accounts, and, you know, it did disturb me, because these people outnumber real people by 10 to 1. on the internet, if not more, perhaps 50 to 1. So you've got one real person and, you know, 50 fake accounts operated by who? Obviously a criminal, if they're using it to persuade people one way or the other and putting out the propaganda on their personal sock puppet account's Facebook page, you know. And if we're cleaning up the internet, I've made a video about YouTube about how they better bloody tighten up, and Facebook, because it is time that we stopped giving human rights to fake online identities. And that, to me, is the real problem here, that fake online identities are allowed to have human rights, that they are being given freedom of speech and expression, and they never get arrested because nobody can ever trace them or track them down. But ordinary people are being arrested. They are being harassed because they're sharing things off YouTube that apparently has offensive things that shouldn't be on Facebook. But never mind, Facebook still has a direct link, you know, allows YouTube to have a direct link to Facebook. And, you know, it's all very incestuous. The public are at serious risk. We are being governed by mad people. Britain is absolutely, totally corrupt at the moment. That's the fact of it. You just need to understand that, Britain. This country is corrupt. We are being governed by a set of psychopathic sadists. That's the absolute truth of it. Because only psychopathic sadists would, you know, impose austerity on a nation. And I was, you know, one thing that so annoyed me with this woman, mad crazy woman, Theresa May.
Now stand ready to take...
you know, and she's actually said, I've read, you know, a brazen attempt to murder innocent civilians on our soil. And in another statement, you know, she's saying that she's not going to tolerate having, you know, people at risk in Britain. That, you know, British people's lives are going to be placed at risk. That was her exact quote. And that she couldn't, you know, she couldn't tolerate that. And, you know, this is a woman that has literally starved the NHS, just robbed it of its funds. And people have died as a result. People can't get their operations. You know, she's stripped, her government stripped benefits from the poor, the sick, the disabled. Thousands of people committed suicide. There's NHS staff workers that are literally worked to death, or they are committing suicide. She's cut British services employees, British service staff by 50%, okay? I mean, people, again, have committed suicide because they've lost the job, they're losing the home, and the relationships break down. The suicide rate in this country shot up, and they don't talk about it. We've got people queuing up outside food banks. I mean, seriously, Theresa May, can you just fuck off? Can you just do that? Can you please just fuck off? Fuck off out of my life. I'm sick to death of witnessing your crazy, mad, fucked up head as governing my country. Okay? I mean, just how dare you talk to me about the threat to British people from Putin? Okay, with not a shred of evidence, not a shred of fucking evidence, and you're already expelling 23 diplomats. Okay, not a shred of evidence. We put massive weight of evidence on your table about the corruption going on in British authorities and the risks to children and the organised crimes that are being committed against children by members of British authorities, and you will not look at the evidence. There is not enough evidence. Oh, no, no, no! Fuck off! But you want to take this whole country into a cold war with Russia now on the strength of what? This crime that's been committed in Salisbury, investigate it. Who handled the envelope? Which people, individuals did it in Britain? Find them, please. Because that family deserve justice, not a pack of lies from you to fucking well justify what you're doing now. Which is really, isn't it, trying to punish Russia because It blocked your little evil plan to install ISIS in Syria. That is what it's about, isn't it? And I'm just totally sick to death of you. But, you know, meanwhile, fucks like him, 11 times, right? People took information, 11 tip-offs, with evidence, photographic evidence, text. They took it into the police. You fucking ignored it. He horrifically abused 13 children and raped a baby, right? While the police were ignoring the evidence on the fucking table. But you little evil cow, okay? Oh, a slight shred of thing. Oh, that's it. Cold War with Russia. Oh, fuck off. Honestly, just please fuck off. You know, and as I say, this organisation, Cambridge Analytica, you know, what can you say? We know it was going on. I knew it was going on. I knew for sure that people were being manipulated. All the media platforms were just full of, and it's got worse and worse and worse, you know. But this Brexit stuff, it was literally bombarded, and the amount of crap they were coming out with about how Sharia law is going to be imposed in Britain because of the EU. You know, the EU's going to support. Oh gosh, there was just such garbage, and a lot of people did fall for it, and a lot of people did get scared, you know. And it is serious, and they're saying now, oh well, you know, it doesn't matter. People aren't really bothered about the privacy, and you know, people aren't that influenced by what they see on Facebook and blah blah blah. It's like, piss off. Why'd you spend all these money on your political campaigns then, if people weren't interested by what they witness on the media? Of course they're bloody influenced by it. And you know what really got me so upset was when that guy said, you know, people don't want to, when it comes to politics, people don't work on facts, they work on emotions. Oh yeah, us public with our emotions. That is what makes us so inferior, isn't it? Because we're not a set of fucking psychopaths. Honestly, I tell you people, wake up, you know, because the guidance that I'm giving here is to say to people, look, stand up for your human rights, demand that the internet now, that people have to verify themselves who they are before they start using the internet. That they have to verify who they are as an individual. The internet should not be giving freedom to cartoon heads, okay? And at the moment it is. It's granting human rights of freedom of speech and expression to cartoon heads, and a lot of them are seriously horrible criminals, okay, or who are actually crazy because of the thing, you know. They're the kind of people that would like us to return back to the days of slavery. Okay, well, we are living in the days of slavery once again, aren't we? Because, you know, where did Theresa May's government want pledged to take us back to? You know, they've pledged to scrap our human rights, and they've pledged to take us back to Victorian Britain. Well, you know, this is Victorian Britain, isn't it? Okay, with 21st century technology. So it really is time for people to wake up. I'd say exodus from Facebook. Just drop it. Retrieve your stuff, and that's it. Drop it. Just leave it, because these people need to know that you are going to tighten up. Okay, you're going to tighten up. You are going to respect our human rights, and you are not going to leave us open to criminals. I mean, you know, giving our personal data to the kind of people that resort to entrapment and blackmail. And you know, that included personal messages as well. They were able to read all your personal messages. I mean, what, 50 million people? Now, what concerns me now, because they're all talking about, oh, but you know, Mark Zucker's got to come to England, and you know, it's a big media feast, isn't it, of names and celebrity and all this type of stuff. But at the end of the day, what has happened to all that information, all those names, the 50 million people information? Who has that been passed on to? Who has it been sold to? Because how can we take their word for it? That, oh, it was just all destroyed, it was all deleted. Really? Really? What, we just accept their word for that, do we? No, and I think it also shows the damage of the corporation, of these corporate entities. We've got a corporate military now in Britain. There's corporate police, corporate courts. We're sick of it. Go away. You're not giving us justice. You're not giving us anything at all. You just take. And all the protection and powers for the corporation and nothing at all for the human beings. And I'm sick to death of this thing. I'm sorry, corporations, you are not human beings and you have no human rights. Only the individuals within you are human beings and have human rights. But a corporation, you have no human rights, okay? And that was a scam, and that, you know, and this is what it's about, isn't it? A corporation can be an individual on Facebook and make friends with people and look into all their accounts and information. You know, this is just, it is crazy madness. Crazy madness. And people are influenced by what they see on their Facebook and by the popularity of something. So how are we going to you know, deal with this now? How are we going to know if these people have erased all the information? But, you know, meanwhile, it's back to war with Russia, isn't it? Or, you know, this is how the BBC presented Jeremy Corbyn, because he spoke some sense and sanity. I mean, everybody who knows me, especially my videos, I'm no big fan of any of these oligarchical left, right-wing politicians, okay? You know, as far as I'm concerned, we are actually socio-capitalists. That's what humans are, and you can never divide us. You know, you start to try and make us choose between socialism or capitalism, that's it, you're screwed, because it's like choosing to keep one hand in your pocket all day and never use it at all for anything, you know. So sorry, we're socio-capitalists, so we don't, you know, look how they've done it. He is actually wearing a peaked cap, but they've made him look like he's wearing a Russian hat. You know, they're so undignified and sick, really, absolutely sick. I mean, I'm sorry, it's just totally crazy. You've gone mad, BBC. You're as mad as the rest of the world, aren't you? You are the reason why the world is so fucking mad, because you've been making madness look normal for how long? How long have you been making absolute evil and crime and criminals look like butter wouldn't melt in the mouth, when we know that the criminals, okay, that is what you do, BBC. And anybody who speaks up for a bit of sense and sanity or human rights, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm just absolutely sick of it, you know. It's really disgusting. So, you know, like I say, for guidance to people, really, seriously, put your faith in Jesus, you know, as a representative of humanity, as a true human male, okay? Somebody with compassion, somebody with a care, somebody with balance and sense and sanity. Put your faith in a human being, in humanity. Do not listen to any of these, you know, deadhead politicians and the bloody, the BBC, people like Theresa May, you know. I mean, maybe we should give Jeremy Corbyn a chance. I don't know. Personally, I think that we're socio-capitalist. That's how our society should be. Socialist and capitalist. Otherwise, it's going to be horror. Okay? And anybody who thinks that they just want to use one hand, well, no. We are socio-capitalists. We cannot be divided on it. The same as you can't divide men and women and say women have less rights than men. You just can't do it, because everything gets messed up. And it's the same with this, you know, left-right politics. No, we want sanity. We want law. That's what we need. We need sanity, balance, compassion, law. All these things are Christian. That's why that's how we've got them. That's because it upheld what was in our roots as Celtic Christians, the human rights. It is the gift of our ancestors. It's what our ancestors struggled and fought for how long. We cannot give them up. And the reason why we have human rights, because we are human beings and we treat each other with respect. And until we start treating each other with respect and stop judging each other for what colour we are or what class or blah blah blah, how long line of judgments do people have to get through before they're accepted as, oh yes, you're alright. Sorry, just go away with all this crap. Give people the human rights. Lose this xenophobic absolute madness that leads us nowhere, okay, except just spreads hate and actual paranoia. People are believing the hype. You know, I listened to one poor man, and he was a Brexit supporter, and he was talking about, and he was genuinely afraid. He's genuinely afraid that his wife and his daughter are going to be raped by Somalis, that there's going to be this mad flood of Somali people coming, because apparently all Somali men are rapists. You know, this is the kind of shit that is going on the, and people believe it, you know, because there's people out there, they're not bad people, they're good people, they've got a good heart, they work hard, but they're not aware of all the information, they're not fully informed, and they get fed some absolute pack of lies and crap, and you know, they do believe it, and it upsets them and it worries them. And that, you know, it just upset me to witness how afraid that man was, you know, even though, you know, people might have said, oh, he's being racist, you know, but he wasn't. He was just repeating the fears that have been fed to him through all this xenophobic crap on the internet that is peddled, isn't it, by people like this Cambridge Analytica. We know that there's not only them, you know, there's people run whole rooms just to people running sock puppet accounts, giving positive reviews for certain businesses, or targeting and attacking people that have a certain political slant. So, you know, it is a war. It's being on the internet these days. If you're trying to share information and talk about the real issues, you really are fighting a battle. It is a war. And, you know, people like myself and some of my other friends that are sharing truth and solutions and reality, because it isn't just the truth, is it? It's because the truth is representing all things. There's every side of a truth, but there is a fundamental truth of who we are as a human being, isn't there? Of what that means to be human. And certainly it does not mean being a psychopath, which is what this world is telling everybody right now. It's telling us we're inferior because we've got emotions, and that they're superior because they haven't got emotions. They're not swayed by their emotions. Apparently they're really strong. No, I tell you who's really strong. People like me who have got very strong and powerful and deep emotions, but who nonetheless keep it together and get it together and shove the evidence on your tables, okay? And who stay calm nonetheless, who don't go around blowing things up or hurting people or expelling Russian diplomats on a whim. Because if you're going to start with your Cold War, Theresa May, you better put some evidence on the table. We want to see some evidence. Otherwise, like I say, Theresa May, please, 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 just fuck off.